Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be following a My Froggy Stuff video on how to make a mermaid tail out of hot glue. So let's get started. So the first thing she does is makes a pattern for the tail. She does this by taking a piece of paper and wrapping it around the doll's legs and then marking where the paper meets. I thought this would be pretty easy, but it didn't work the first time, so I had to try several more times. I don't know, maybe I did something wrong, but after the few tries, I finally got it to work, so it's all good, worked out in the end. For the next step, she puts the piece of paper or pattern on the top of a silicone mat to trace it with the hot glue, but I didn't have a silicone mat, so instead I used whatever mat this is that I have here. After tracing it, we are then supposed to fill it with millions, just really lots of dots. And this is the part that takes up most of the time of this project. Also, if you're trying to do this project, when you're doing these dots, I suggest you don't put them too close together because otherwise they will melt together, and become like a blob, which is not exactly what we want. So just put them apart, and then later on when they're dry, put more dots next to it to fill it in. If you're going to be doing this, I suggest listening to music or something because it takes a long time. After putting in all those dots, I then tried pulling it off the mat, but guess what? It didn't pull off very well because I didn't use a silicone mat. What a surprise. And as you can see here, I also ruined the mat by accident. Oops. This part actually took me about half an hour, but I'm just glad I was able to get it off of the mat. After I was finally able to take it off of the mat, I then was worried it wouldn't fit because I had problems with the pattern, but it actually worked just fine. And then after that, I just trimmed off the edges to make sure it was all smooth and could connect together easily. To connect the tail together, I just put a piece of glue on the edge and then put it to the other side, and this is just around the doll. But what I did do wrong is I connected it together on the side, so then one side had the tail shape, but the other side was just round, it didn't turn out. And then how My Froggy Stuff did it is she connected it in the back, so that's how I should have done it, but of course I didn't do it that way. And as you just saw, I also burned some of the doll's hair off by accident. Whoops. Once it was connected, I then trimmed off the excess to make it all smooth, and I also had to use some hot glue drops to make it match with the rest of the tail so it wasn't just like a line on the side of the tail. This is where it gets interesting. I tried doing the top piece of the mermaid tail like how My Froggy Stuff does it, right on top of the doll, but this is how it turned out. So I decided to think about it for a little bit, and I came up with a better idea. So basically my idea is that we wrap the doll with plastic instead of just putting the hot glue straight onto the doll, so then it wouldn't stick to the doll like before. And it actually worked so great. I snipped the back here, as you can see, and then I was able to just peel it right off of the doll. It worked amazing. The plastic really helped. So if you want to do this, it worked out great. You should try it. After taking it off, this is then what it looked like. Okay, so because I like the idea so much of the plastic, I decided to completely redo the bottom part of the mermaid tail. So basically the first part was a waste of time, but oh well. After doing the bottom part of the mermaid tail again, I then decided to move on and make the, I don't know what you call this, the fins of the mermaid tail, I guess. So I'll just quickly sketch those out real quick. Pretty easy. Just draw some lines, I guess. After sketching it out, I then made sure they looked big enough against the mermaid tail. Then I used the same idea. I put the plastic over the piece of paper and then used the hot glue on top of the plastic, and that seemed to work pretty well, so that's how that turned out. Then for the painting part, this actually took quite a while because I was very indecisive about what color I wanted to do for the mermaid tail. First I tried to do orange like what my Froggy stuff did, and I didn't really like how it turned out. Because I didn't like how I looked, I then decided to try adding some white spots, just like right on top to make it look more like fishy, I guess. And I kind of liked it, but then also after looking at it for a little while, I didn't like it. Because I didn't like it, guess what? I then tried to cover it up with a different color paint. I tried a darker brown because that's what my Froggy stuff did. And so I thought maybe it would look better if I did the darker brown underneath the orange. I didn't like how this turned out either though, so I completely restarted and painted it white, and then I painted blue on top because that's my favorite color, and I thought maybe just going something different would work. And also I did the top, as you can see, and blue of course to match. Then I thought that was a bit basic, so I took this glitter paint and I painted that on top of the mermaid tail to make it look more sparkly, and this is how it turned out. And voila, I finally finished it. After many hot glue sticks and many layers of paint, I was able to create a mermaid tail made out of hot glue for my dolls.